Everyone thinks Flight 441 simply vanished into the Atlantic. The wreckage told a very different story. For decades, the official record was airtight. A four-engine transport aircraft, callsign Flight 441, departed from New York bound for London on a winter evening in 1954. Somewhere over the mid-Atlantic it vanished. No distress call, no wreckage recovered for months. The consensus among aviation authorities was mechanical failure, engine fire, structural fatigue, something catastrophic and instantaneous. Clean, closed. Except it wasn't. Let me walk you through what the investigators found, or rather what they thought they found. The wreckage, when it finally surfaced 6 months later, showed evidence of an in-flight fire. Burn patterns on the fuselage, charred cockpit instruments. The metallurgists concluded fuel system rupture, case closed. But here's the detail everyone overlooked, this telegram right here from the salvage crew chief. He noted the fire damage was superficial, localized, not consistent with a spreading conflagration. The crew manifest listed 29 souls aboard, 14 crew, 15 passengers. Among them, a British aeronautical engineer on sabbatical, a Swiss diplomat returning from trade talks, and this matters, a young American physicist carrying classified documents related to early jet engine research. Not weapons, technically, but sensitive enough that the State Department took an unusual interest in the investigation's direction. Now the accepted narrative held for nearly 30 years. Flight 441 burned, tragedy, accident. The wreckage was catalogued, stored, and largely forgotten, filed away in a Boston warehouse alongside thousands of other aviation artifacts. But in 1982, a graduate student researching post-war aircraft accidents requested access to the original recovery photographs. What he found didn't fit the fire theory at all. The fuselage sections showed evidence of explosive decompression, not a gradual pressure loss from a crack or puncture, but a violent, catastrophic rupture. The metal around the breach was bent outward, the unmistakable signature of an explosion originating from inside the cabin. The fire, it turned out, was secondary, a consequence, not a cause. But here's where the official story truly unravels. If there was an explosion in the cabin, where was the evidence? No bomb fragments, no residue matching known explosives from that era, no structural damage pattern consistent with a device. The investigators who'd signed off on the fire theory had already retired or passed away. No one was eager to reopen a closed case. The students' findings languished in academic journals. Few read them. Then in 1994, a retired salvage diver who'd worked the recovery came forward. He'd kept detailed personal notes, never submitted to the official inquiry. In his account, the wreckage was too scattered, too fragmented for a fire alone. The pieces suggested violent structural failure at altitude, but there was something else he'd noticed, traces of a peculiar residue on several metal fragments. He'd reported it to his supervisor, who dismissed it as corrosion. The diver had kept a sample. When that sample was finally analyzed using modern spectrometry, technology that didn't exist in 1954, it revealed traces of nitroglycerin-based explosive. Not a large quantity, enough for a small device. A sophisticated one too, something that required knowledge, precision, and access to materials not easily obtained in the post-war black market. This is where the narrative pivots. Flight 441 didn't burn by accident, it was sabotaged, but by whom and why? The physicist with the classified documents suddenly became a crucial thread. His research wasn't just academic, it had applications in military propulsion systems. During the early Cold War, espionage was rampant. Soviet agents were active in the Atlantic maritime corridors, but so were Western intelligence services, protecting their own interests. The declassified files, released decades later under FOIA requests, reveal something darker. The physicist wasn't just traveling home. He was being recalled, quietly investigated for suspected unauthorized contact with foreign nationals. His documents were being moved because the government wanted them back. And somewhere in that bureaucratic shuffle, someone decided the risk of his testimony or knowledge becoming public was greater than the risk of an accident. I'm not suggesting a formal confession exists. It doesn't. But the pattern is unmistakable to anyone who studied intelligence operations from that era. A small, sophisticated explosive device, a flight carrying a sensitive asset, an investigation that was deliberately steered toward mechanical failure, and a cover-up that lasted 40 years because no one in power had reason to disturb it. The victims' families never received closure. 29 people lost to a lie. The official record still lists Flight 441 as a probable mechanical failure. No conspiracy, no sabotage, no government involvement. The evidence sits in archives accessible to researchers but rarely examined. The original investigators are gone. The decision-makers are gone. What remains is a ghost, a flight that vanished twice, once over the Atlantic, and once more into the bureaucratic machinery designed to forget it. The real tragedy isn't the mystery itself, it's that we had the answer all along. The wreckage spoke clearly. The metallurgy didn't lie. The evidence of sabotage was there, documented and preserved. What failed wasn't the investigation, it was the will to confront an uncomfortable truth that during the Cold War's paranoia, governments on both sides were willing to eliminate inconvenient people. Flight 441 wasn't an accident, it was a calculated decision, made in a room by people who believed they were protecting something larger than individual lives. Today, Flight 441 exists in a strange limbo, not officially unsolved but not officially explained. The wreckage was eventually scrapped. The documents are scattered across multiple archives. The truth is available to anyone willing to look, but few do. It's easier to accept the original story. Cleaner, less complicated, less damning. And that perhaps is the most haunting aspect of this case. The echo that lingers isn't just of the aircraft. It's of a system designed to make inconvenient truths disappear. If you've made it this far, you understand why these cases matter. They're not just aviation history. They're windows into how institutions handle the evidence of their own misconduct, and how easily truth can be rewritten when the people in power decide it's inconvenient. Subscribe. Each week we uncover another aviation mystery the official record tried to bury.